guys, it's Fee, and I'm here for what I would call a TTC random vlog. This isn't really an update. Last week I did do an update video, and somewhere in the middle of that, something came up where I remember saying that had I have not gone through the IVF journey, there were lessons that I probably would not have received, things I would not have learned, at least not at this time. Maybe I would have learned them further in the future, depending on what life brought me. But there were definitely things that this journey has taught me. And I thought to myself, why don't you tell them what those things are? And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm here for. I kind of thought, you know, maybe it was important to put out there. Some of these may seem obvious, but, you know, maybe someone's watching this that goes, hey, you know what? That helps. That helps. And every little bit helps, right? So that's what we're here for, to help each other. All right. So what has IVF taught me? You would think that going down the IVF path wouldn't teach you things, that it would just bring, well, pain and torture and emotional roller coasters and needles and all kinds of fun stuff. But, and it does, but there are good things that I think have come from this. And I thought of five. So, number one, and the most important one, be your own advocate. This has taught me that in such an amazing way. It's hard to describe, because when I first started, I don't think I really was my own advocate. I kind of was just going with the flow, and then after a while, you realize, hey, I'm the one going through this. I'm the one, well, hypothetically paying for it, and I don't just mean money. I mean, you pay with your emotions, you pay with your body, and of course you pay with your wallet, absolutely. And you realize, well, if I'm the one doing this, why should I just trust the doctors just because they have a PhD? You know, they call it practice for a reason, because a lot of it is guesswork in a white coat. I don't care what anybody says. It's educationally guessed basis, but it's still practice. And I think it's important to be your own advocate, especially in something like IVF, where new things are being found and tried, and new research comes out. It's not IVF and you know, FET and any of the tests that come along with it aren't what they were 20 years ago when it started. Actually longer than that. I believe IVF's first base was in the 70s. Obviously things have changed since then, so why not be your own advocate? Ask questions, do your own research. If there's something that you want that the doctor is questioning or doesn't necessarily want to do, well, then fight for that. Fight for that. This is your life. This is a chapter of your life that you are writing, and you're the one that should have the pen in your hand, not the doctor. And I really believe that. Be your own advocate. Don't just go along with things. All right, number two. And this one is rough. This is a hard lesson to learn. It's definitely a hard lesson to swallow. It's on my list, but I certainly haven't perfected it. I don't think any of us have. And that's never be jealous of other people's miracles. That's so hard to do. It's so hard to do when you're trying and it seems like everyone around you are getting BFPs. If you're on Facebook, it's, you know, it's Murphy's Law. If you just went through something bad, there's probably 20 people out there that just posted things about babies and BFPs and pregnancies. And sometimes that's really hard to watch and to look at and not be jealous of other people's miracles. But don't. I learned that lesson the hard way. Don't be jealous of other people's miracles, because as fast as those miracles were given, they could easily be taken away. Something bad could happen, And then that's just going to leave you feeling guilty all over again. It happened to me. It happened to me. I'm only human. I was jealous of things, and then something happened, and you're just left feeling like about that big. Don't do that to yourself. And, of course, I can't speak for everybody else, but I personally wouldn't want a single person, friend or enemy or stranger alike, I wouldn't want anyone to know even one step of this journey because it sucks. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, and it would be awesome if the doctors could figure out how to make things just work for people so that nobody else has to know what this feels like. And it's not like I want to be a martyr, so don't view it that way. I just, knowing all of the things that infertility can cause physically and mentally, that's not something anybody should have to feel. It's just work. So try not to be jealous of those other people's miracles, because whether they're people that fought for that BFP, or whether there's someone that it just happened to without even trying, you wouldn't want anyone to go through this longer than they have to, or at all. Number 3, take nothing for granted. Nothing for granted, which kind of it kind of goes back into the one I just said, because all this stuff is supposed to just work. We're not supposed to have to worry about this stuff. So when something does work perfectly for you, outside of the infertility world or inside of the infertility world, don't take it for granted, because there's probably somebody else out there that's fighting tooth and nail for that same thing that you were just handed on a silver platter. So don't take anything for granted, and be thankful for it all. All right, number four, this is going to sound cliche, but it's true. Life is definitely a miracle. I know that sounds like something that should be on a Hallmark card or just a sappy commercial, but it's true. It's true. The further you go down this path, the more you realize all the different little things that have to happen perfectly, in sync, in time, with no problems, at the right window of the month, with no problems in your body and no problems in your husband's body, and I could go on and on and on and on. I'm being really general there, but most of you know all of those things that make a pregnancy actually happen. It's mind-blowing once you know all of those things and all the details of them, that people get pregnant in the first place. Yet those of us with bodies that work properly, it does just happen. And that really is a miracle. That really is a miracle of life, and life is precious. It absolutely is. And number 5, kind of a funny one. What IVF has taught me personally? To love needles. Well, maybe not love needles, but to get used to them. I've said this here and there before, but it is so true. When I first started back in January of this year, I was terrified. I didn't admit it to too many people, not right away at least. And I do think I did end up doing like a really late night vlog. I'm sure it's somewhere in the IVF number 1 playlist that I have. But I would have considered myself borderline needle phobic. The concept of having to inject myself or have somebody else inject me as many times as is required just blew me away. I remember the first time you start out with the injections that you can do yourself. You don't need help because they all go in the belly. I remember the first time I had to do one of those. I'm standing in my kitchen, and my hands were just shaking. They were shaking so bad, and my heart was pounding. I almost dropped it on the kitchen floor. And it was like, no, I can't do that. These damn things cost too much. Hang on to it and just do it. And I remember I was so nervous, I almost passed out. And now it's like nothing. It's like, I'll inject my forehead if you want me to. I mean, imagine how bad that would hurt. I don't care. Give me a 5-inch long needle. It doesn't bother me anymore. And that really is mind blowing when you think about it. When you're talking about someone who never took a shot very well. I mean, we're just talking like an average flu shot in the arm with all this nice padding here. It always freaked me out. Now I don't care. It doesn't bother me. The first time the big gigantic medicine box came through, I think I did an opening vlog on that. And even after I finished that vlog, it took me forever to get everything, you know, just in place and figure out what everything was for. Every time after that, it was like 1, 2, 3, and I was done. It was like, I didn't even have to look at the labels. I knew what everything was. So, yeah, you learn to love needles, and we'll leave it at that. So, that's it. I thought I would put these things out here because they're kind of important to me. The last one's funny, but the other 4 are important to me. I think they're great life lessons that maybe I wouldn't never have learned if I wouldn't have been forced to go down the IVF path. And I'd like to believe that those lessons will come in handy. So, that's it. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.